Hello again, friends, and welcome back to the channel, Giving It All Away. My name's Rick Gregson, and, well, I'm here to give it all away. With these videos, I'm hoping to encourage candid conversation about a wide range of topics, including life experiences, entrepreneurship, wealth building, and lifestyle design. These subjects are near and dear to my heart, and I hope you find these videos useful or at least entertaining. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Today's topic is 6 things you may not know about 23andMe. So, have you ever been stumped when a healthcare provider asks for your family medical history? Or have you ever wondered maybe how much of that was heredity and how much of that was lifestyle, environment? Have you ever considered using a service like 23andMe to find out more? So my sister started using this service some years ago, and I've kind of held back. I had concerns over data privacy and protection. And of course, I'm kind of wary of health insurance companies in the mix. So what I want to cover today is 23andMe's privacy statements, how the service works, insights to be gained, what their offerings are, and I also wanted to introduce one unexpected, interesting benefit from using a service like 23andMe. So let's go ahead and get started. 23andMe, per Wikipedia, it's a publicly held genomics and biotechnology company. It was founded in April 2006, so it's obviously been around a while. It's based in Sunnyvale, California, and it's best known for providing direct consumer genetic testing based on a simple saliva sample. So 23andMe data privacy, let's kind of start right there. Like I said just a moment ago, my biggest hesitancy with a service like this was concerns over data privacy and impact if data sets are shared. As I realized we're moving toward a trend of personalized healthcare, health insurance companies could factor in genetic predispositions when they're looking at your rate charges. These could become personalized policies, and they could affect cost and even insurability, right? So that's kind of top of mind for me. So after some quick research into 23andMe, their terms of use and data privacy, what I found was a page that talks about their the access to your information. And what it says is your personal information may be shared in the following ways: with our service providers, as necessary for them to provide their services to us, with qualified research collaborators, only if you provide explicit consent. 23andMe will not sell, lease, or rent your individual level information to a third party for research purposes without your explicit consent. We will not share your data with any public databases. We will not provide any person's data, genetic or non-genetic, to an insurance company or employer. And lastly, they had, we will not provide information to law enforcement or regulatory authorities unless required by law to comply with a valid court order, subpoena, or search warrant for genetic or personal information. And then, of course, they refer you to what they call a transparency report. Being the curious-minded person, of course, I had to dig into the transparency report. Here's what I found. Per their website, we will closely scrutinize all law enforcement and regulatory requests, and we will only comply with court orders, subpoenas, search warrants, or other requests that we determine are legally valid. We will not release a customer's individual level personal information to any third party without asking for and receiving that customer's explicit consent. The statistics included in our transparency report reflect the following: the number of government requests for customer information we've received, the number of customers or accounts specified in the requests that we've received, and the number of instances where data was produced in whole or in part without prior explicit consent by the individuals specified in the request. So this report was first published in 2015 and was last updated on January 12th of 2022. It's updated quarterly. For the United States, 8 requests have been received, covering a total of 11 subscribers. To date, no information has been given without subscriber consent, and also to date, no information has been requested from bodies outside the US, which of course 23andMe services globally. So, okay, good to know. This put my suspicious mind at ease. There's enough things to worry about. This shouldn't be one of them. So what I found when I received my kit, it really was simple and painless. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, be sure to register your kit. They have an online portal for doing that. They provide the URL. 2, and this is what I did. I downloaded and installed the app. They have it available for both Apple and Android devices. 3, you spit in the saliva sample tube. You bring it up to the fill line, and then you close the tube. And by closing the tube, it actually releases a stabilizing agent, which keeps things intact during the process of transit going into the lab. Next, you place the sample tube into a bag that they provide, and the bag has a identifying code and such on it, but it doesn't have your name or anything like that, any of your personal information attached to the mailer. So you just simply send it in. You can track the mail package with the USPS app. You can, of course, track it through delivery. And you can track the sample once it's received by 23andMe. You can track that through the processing. There's 7 or 8 steps that it actually goes through. And it was really neat. They've got little short videos that explain different steps within the process along the way. They're entertaining and they're very informative. So let's talk a little bit about the process here. Shortly after receipt of my spit kit, 23andMe forecast a date for my results to arrive somewhere between March 29th and April 12th. I was delighted at how fast this actually came through. I had my results by March 19th, and I don't know if that's just slow business for them right now, or if they've just gotten really good at what they're doing. Either way, I was amazed. Watching the videos as we went through the different process steps, a couple of things caught my attention. One was a term that I noticed during the extraction phase called amplification. Because, to amplify to me means to make something louder, stronger, whatever. So I was a little curious about that. So what that actually entails, it's a part of a next-gen biotechnology suite that's in use today. It's a process called Polymerase Chain reaction. Apparently it's a fast and inexpensive technique used to copy. I don't know why they used the word amplify. Copy the DNA. So they copy and make a lot of your DNA during the extraction process. And they use all that, not all of it, some of it goes into cold storage, but they use that DNA to apply to the genotyping chips. And there again, I was intrigued. I'm like, genotyping chip. And it turns out they're on version 5. And I'm like, well, I know Intel, I know AMD. What is a genotyping chip? For all I know, it's a barbecue sort of a thing. I don't know. So anyway, I dug into that a little bit as well because I was curious. And essentially what a genotyping chip is it's a glass slide with microscopic beads on its surface, and the cut pieces of your DNA are added to the slide. What they do is they pair two matching bits of a probe DNA sample, and the probes have fluorescent tags. And based on the light, or based on the fluorescence of the tag, the color, I should say, the tag, that is how they can tell what genetic variant you have at that certain point in your DNA. Quick for instance, right? These these parts tend to have to fit together. The DNA and the probe sample have to fit together. And what you've got, DNA is basically a twisted molecule of amino acids, right? Adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. And rule of thumb, adenine always pairs with thymine, and guanine always pairs with cytosine. So by knowing the opposite of what it's pairing with, that's how it knows what you have as an endpoint at that genetic point that they're testing for. Because whichever molecule with the fluorescent tag actually sticks or actually binds, that's how you know what the variant is on that endpoint. The variants are where the real interest comes in at, because that's when they analyze that, that's what they're looking for, so they can identify particular genetic predispositions, right? So bear in mind, a genetic predisposition is not a diagnosis of a condition. Lifestyle and there may be other contributing factors that will play a part as to whether or not the genetic tendency will come true, but there is that genetic marker that you're susceptible, right? Couple of things that actually came up in my own results was nearsightedness, high likelihood of it. Yeah, 6th grade, figured that one out. That's a lot of fun. And high blood pressure, it's kind of interesting. I'm not going to make an excuse about dealing with high blood pressure, but I live a decent lifestyle. I try to manage my stress. I work in IT, sometimes that's not easy, but I try to manage my stress. Exercise, yeah, I could do better with exercise. I got that. But diet, I tend to have my diet pretty well locked down. I do a pretty decent job with diet. But it always seemed like any gains I could make with the blood pressure were just limited, right? Not hugely consequential. I found it interesting to find that I've got a genetic predisposition for high blood pressure. It makes taking the med now a little easier. It's not a lack of self-care that's impacting me. It's just simply in the genes, and obviously my environmental conditions have lined up for that. So here we are. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we understood the difference between a genetic predisposition, which is what these tests provide, that type of information, versus a diagnosis of a condition, which really takes a healthcare professional to do that, right? So, okay. With that being said, what kits are available? Well, at the time of writing, they've got 3 kits. One is your basic kit. It provides ancestry and traits. It comes at a cost of $99, I believe. The next one they call the essential kit, which that provides a little more detailed health and ancestry service. It's got a little more extended reporting. It includes some FDA authorized reports, and it has a little bit more by way of family health history provided. And then they've got a premium kit. I'm sorry, the essential kit is $199. The premium kit, I actually found that for $198. That includes everything in the essential package, plus additional reporting, of course, right? That's it. Regarding like pharmacogenetics, how you process drugs, heart health, and you're also opted in for new reports as they become available. So the premium comes with a 1-year subscription. Everything is a subscription service these days, right? Come on. So the premium comes with a 1-year subscription into their service, and I think it's $29 a year to renew. You can purchase kits through Amazon, but honestly, I went directly through the website. Sometimes you might find specials and want to take advantage. So there's that. So there's one last thing I wanted to talk about in this video that I thought was really neat. Okay, so a little backstory here. My sister and I, we were both adopted young. She was adopted at 2 years old. I was adopted at 6 months. We're not genetically related, so we're not siblings genetically speaking at all. And neither one of us have relationships presently with our birth parents, nor are we aware of our family medical history. Finding out about our genetic predispositions was a huge win. An unexpected benefit was my sister telling me about her finding a long-lost relative through 23andMe last year. The cool thing about that is, as an adopted child, you know, you can't get past the sealed court documents, right? But going through a test like this, and people that have opted into finding common ancestors, you know, it's DNA testing, man. It doesn't lie. It's spot on. So during my time growing up in the 90s, I did go through the regular process, right? I registered with the Indiana Adoption Registry, and always tried to respect my birth mother's personal decision. It's going to sound weird. I was just glad she didn't abort, you know. And I did want to make myself available if she came looking, which unfortunately she never did. But through the DNA testing and the results I got, I found a half sister on my mother's side, and I'm still processing that. To be really honest, I'm still processing that. We've started a dialogue. We're talking, and yeah, we'll see what develops. So that's very interesting. I didn't know. I didn't really expect, but it happened. So very cool stuff. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. For me, 23andMe seems to be the best game in town for the health reporting benefits. And the ancestry component could be a strong reason to try this service as well. I found it to be totally worthwhile. It's got great insights, some interesting opportunity for connection that you might not otherwise have. And the cost was relatively affordable. So I highly recommend it. So was today's video informative or useful? Have you been considering a service like 23andMe or maybe Ancestry.com? Which of the topics interested you most? Please be sure to comment and like below, and let's start a conversation. Also, please be sure to check out, like, and follow me on Medium as well. The link for my writings will be in the description below, and I really appreciate everything. So thank you so much for joining me, and see you again soon. Thank you.